Okay, we will call to order the regular meeting of the Batavia City Council for Monday, February 17th, 2020. I would ask that you all please rise for a brief invocation to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, as we roll through to winter season, we are ever thankful for the many blessings that are showered upon Batavia in this kind of inclement weather. We have an outstanding Public Works Department who is jolly on the spot to ensure that our streets are clear and clean and safe. And we are ever thankful for the never-stop patrol and protection of our community by our police and fire and paramedic services. And we just ask that a special blessing be showered upon each and every one of these men and women as they go about their vital missions in serving the citizens of Batavia. As always, at every meeting, we want to remember those from our community who are serving in foreign soil in defense of the liberties of the United States of America as part of our military contingencies. And again, we ask that a special blessing be showered upon them. And we ask for guidance and direction and understanding as we act upon the items of business before us, and knowing that in the hearts and minds of each member of the City Council, we are here to do what in our own thoughts are in the very best interest of Batavia and its future. We ask for all these blessings. Amen. Alderman Callahan, you lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Miller.
Here.
Rosado.
Here.
Beck.
Here.
Knopp.
Here.
Chanzit. Wolf.
Here.
Barron.
Here.
O'Brien.
Here.
Callahan.
Here.
Meitzler.
Here.
Malay.
Here.
Ewer.
Here.
Cerrone.
Here.
McFadden.
Here.
Okay, let the record reflect that 13 of the 14 elected members of the City Council are present and accounted for, so we obviously have the necessary quorum to conduct business. Moving then to item number 4, which is the meeting reminder to ask everyone who's going to speak, because as you know, we do televise this on local TV, please use the microphone so everything can be heard by anybody in the greater television audience. And moving then to item number 5, items to be removed, added, or changed on the agenda. Alderman McFadden, do you have anything this evening as Vice Chairman of Governmental Services?
Thank you, Your Honor. I do have one item. Item N on the consent agenda, dealing with the changes to the liquor code. I'd like to pull that off the consent agenda and place it on the regular agenda as item 10.1 right after Main Street.
Okay, and again, that is, which one did you say that was?
Item N on the
Item
consent
N,
agenda.
okay. Any other changes? Want to make it, what, do we need a motion to? Yes. I'd ask you to make a motion to make that change.
I'll make a motion we accept the agenda as amended.
Second.
Moved by Alderman McFadden, second by Alderman Cerrone, that we accept the agenda as amended. As noted, item N is going to be removed and placed on the regular agenda. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosado.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Knopp.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Cerrone.
Aye.
Motion for the approval of the consent agenda and amendment is approved. 13 yes, no no's, 1 absent. Okay, moving to item number 6. I just might want to note, I believe this is perhaps the longest consent agenda ever acted upon by the Batavia City Council. And it falls to Alderman McFadden to have the honor of presenting this tonight.
Lucky me.
That's why we pulled one off, so you wouldn't have the record.
Yeah. All right. We'll be here for a minute. The consent agenda reads as follows. Accept and place on file Committee of the Whole minutes for January 14th, 2020. Approvals. February 7th, 2020 payroll in the amount of $948,043.16. The accounts payable check register in the amount of $3,739,447.75. And I'll note on that one that that was a late change. The number on the printed agenda on the website is not the correct number. I was given the correct number a few minutes ago. City Council minutes for February 3rd, 2020. Ordinance 20-17, annexing 323 Evergreen Drive. Resolution 20-026R, authorizing execution of a master services agreement with H.R. Green. Resolution 2021R, authorizing acceptance of plat of easement for 1146 Wintergreen Terrace. Resolution 2022R, authorizing acceptance of a plat of easement for 1150 Wintergreen Terrace. Resolution 2020R, authorizing purchase of 3 police department patrol vehicles for $103,044. Resolution 20-19R, authorizing purchase of a Ford F-150 pickup truck for the Community Development Department for amount not to exceed $27,295. Ordinance 20-16, declaring ESDA surplus property. Resolution 20-15R, an intergovernmental agreement with the College of DuPage to conduct firefighter applicant testing. Resolution 20-25R, approving extension to employment agreement with John Dillon. Skipping N, as that's going to the regular agenda. O, Resolution 20-30R, tax abatements for fire station refunding, the 2012A general obligation bonds. Resolution 20-31R, tax abatements for the IEPA 2013 general obligation bonds. Resolution 20-032R, tax abatements, electric refunding, the 2015 general obligation bonds. Resolution 20-33R, tax abatements for drainage capital, and that's the 2017 general obligation bonds. Resolution 20-34R, tax abatements for the fire station bonds, that's the 2019 general obligation bonds. Resolution 20-29R, resolution recertification of participation by elected officials in the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. Resolution 20-35R, approving a directional boring contract with Carlisle Utility Contractors for Paramount Park substation feeder reconfiguration in the amount not to exceed $101,351, which includes a 10% contingency amount. And lastly, Ordinance 20-18, declaring certain property to be surplus and authorizing donation thereof. Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved by Alderman McFadden. Who seconded it? Second by Alderman Cerrone for the approval of the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? And I just want to make the comment that certainly starting with item O and all these abatements on taxes and electrical refunding and everything, drainage, we have kept our commitment to the citizens of Batavia that we didn't allow a lot of these projects go to their property taxes, and that's what we're doing here tonight. The big one on the table here is the fire station refunding, which is I don't know, most of you weren't with us when we did this. It was $11.4 million. And we passed a referendum at that point in time in which we asked for a half-cent sales tax increase. We made the commitment that if people would approve that, we would use that money to pay for the bonds on the fire station. And I'm proud to say that we've been able to make that payment every year on those. So these nice fire stations we have in town, which are getting near being paid off, have been paid for entirely, never going on a property tax bill. So I'm feeling very good that we kept our commitment to everybody on that. And that was that. Of course, the fire department always has a pretty strong community support, as I think do our other departments. But when we went to referendum on that one, I think it was almost 70% of the people in town voted for that referendum. And for a tax referendum to pass with 70%, you got to have something going for you. And this was, we wouldn't be putting it on your property tax. But again, everybody liked the fire department and was very pleased with all the good service they've received from them over the years. So just a note of kind of bragging about ourselves here a little bit, but we kept our promise. I guess that's the message. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosato.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Knopp.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Cerrone.
Aye.
Motion for the consent agenda is approved. 13 yes, no no's, 1 absent. Okay, moving to item 7, matters from the public for items not on the agenda. Do we have anybody tonight? Doesn't look like it. Okay, next is item 8, which this is an oath in office for a newly appointed Batavia police officer. And Chief Ewell, if you would come forward and introduce the officer, please.
Good evening. Alex Wakely is a certified law enforcement officer and has come to our department with 4 years of prior experience serving with the Dixon Police Department. Officer Wakely was born and raised in the town of Dixon, Illinois, and he's a graduate of Dixon High School. He also attended Western Illinois University, where he received a bachelor's degree in law enforcement studies in 2013. Officer Wakely recently began our field training and evaluation process, and he's currently assigned to our day shift. He was hired to fill a vacancy in our organization created by a recent retirement of Sergeant Vince DeBlasio. We're really excited to have Alex. Like I said, he's a certified law enforcement officer, so it speeds the process of him finishing our field training and evaluation process and coming into full-time sworn activities. Alex, you want to step up?
Alex, you want to go up there with me? We're in the center of the room here, so we get you on TV real quick. If anybody wants to take any pictures, feel free to come up. Practice what I preach here. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Alex Wakely,
having been appointed
having been appointed
to the position of probationary police officer
to the position of probationary police officer
on February 10th, 2020,
on February 10th, 2020,
with the Batavia Police Department,
with the Batavia Police Department,
in the city of Batavia,
in the city of Batavia,
in the counties of Kane and DuPage,
in the counties of Kane and DuPage,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of probationary police officer
of probationary police officer
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, welcome aboard. Okay, next one is a proclamation proclaiming National Suicide Prevention and Action Month, and a couple of you on the council want to do this. Somebody wants to read this? I got it right here. I'd like to have it read.
I've got it up. I'm happy to read it.
happy to.
But if-
That's you.
I wouldn't be able to, so I'm going to defer it.
I can read it.
I'll make it.
I think I can get through it. Whereas September is known globally as Suicide Prevention Month, the National Suicide Prevention and Action Month proclamation was created to raise the visibility of the mental health resources and suicide prevention services available in our community. The goal is to speak openly about the importance of mental health and the impacts of suicide to help remove the surrounding stigmas and to direct those in need to the appropriate support services. And whereas suicidal thoughts can affect anyone, regardless of age, gender, race, orientation, income level, religion, and/or background. And according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 10th leading cause among adults and the second leading cause among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34 in the U.S. And whereas more than 47,000 people die by suicide across the U.S. in 2017, which according to the CDC was more than twice the number of homicides, with an average of 129 suicides completed daily, which includes active military and veterans accounting for 13.5% of all suicides nationally. And whereas each and every suicide directly impacts a minimum of 100 individuals, including family, friends, co-workers, neighbors, and community members. And whereas the city of Batavia is no different than any other community across the country, but chooses to publicly place our full support behind our local educators, mental health professionals, athletic coaches, law enforcement officers, and parents as partners in supporting our community in simple but being available to one another. And whereas global organizations like Hope for the Day are on the front lines of a war that many still refuse to discuss, as suicide and mental health remain too uncomfortable to talk about. And whereas every member of our community should understand that throughout life's struggles, we all need the occasional reminder that we are fighting our own battles. And whereas I encourage all residents to take the time to check in with their family, friends, and neighbors on a regular basis, and to honestly communicate their appreciation for their existence by any gesture they deem appropriate. A simple phone call, a message, a handshake, or a hug can go a long way towards helping someone realize that suicide is not the answer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jeffrey D. Shelkey, do proclaim the month of September 2020 as National Suicide Prevention and Action Month in the city of Batavia. I move that we accept the proclamation as read.
Second.
Move by Alderman Wolf, second by Alderman Metzler for the approval of the proclamation as presented. Any discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Wolf.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosato.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Knopp.
Aye.
Motion for approval of the proclamation is 13 yes, no no's, 1 absent. Okay, Alderman Callahan?
We just said we were going to, make sure that we were talking about it. Well, I know that myself and others on council have been affected or by the completion or the thoughts of it by family members or friends. And this is the part of talking about it. There are tons of resources out there. It is very hard to concentrate and figure out those resources that are available until you need them. And I would suggest that people learn them beforehand, that you don't think you're going to need them. You may never, God willing. But if you do, there are tons of opportunities for you to learn more out there. And our police and fire are outstanding professionals when it comes to situations of getting the help for our family members and friends.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate you doing that because I know of a number of instances in this town where that has been the issue. And I wholeheartedly concur with everything you just said, specifically about the police and fire department. And they know how to deal with it. They know who to call, who to take, do everything that needs to be done. And they do it so kind of quietly and very strongly, but I think we take good care of people if we get the chance to do it. And I'm just very proud of our people for what I've been told by other family members of them that have called and have been so well impressed by what happens here in Batavia. So I think that's something the city council and myself can certainly wear with a badge of honor, the outstanding service that we provide here in this issue. And it's one that unfortunately doesn't seem to go away. It seems like it's new cases all the time, and it just keeps butting in on the alarm board. And so we just have to be very, I think, considerate and understanding, and specifically have, it's you're dealing with the human mind and the thought processes and people with very troubling situations in their lives, and you got to have somebody with an open mind and a big heart to deal with those, and we're very blessed to have those people in our ranks here. So I just, again, thank Alderman Callahan for bringing this up, because it really does, I think, speak to the heart of what Batavia is all about in the essence of our trying to look out for our fellow man. So thank you.
One of my lights of my life just finished his second day program for going through with the hospitalizations at Mercy today. So who knows what the world brings, but today it's a good day.
If I may, just, to Marty's point, if people are going to have difficulty trying to find out avenues of assistance, most importantly, just dial 911, and that'll get them immediate assistance, and then they can go from there to whatever other hotlines. But, the police and 911 are trained to just take care of it, as you say. They're trained for it, and they do excellent work at it. But 911, everyone knows it, everyone remembers it. If anyone's having those thoughts, just 911, and someone will talk you through it, so.
Okay. We voted on this, so, okay. All right. The next thing is a presentation by Main Street, and I see we have the Main Street leadership here.
We do. Good evening, everybody. If you can just give me one quick moment to pop up our PowerPoint for the year here. All right, from the beginning. Perfect. I do want to thank everybody for all of this technology up here. This is pretty fabulous. I'm not used to having a presenter screen I can read right in front of me. I will introduce myself. My name is Patrick James Moynihan. I am the president. This is my 4th year as president of Batavia Main Street, and my final year as Batavia Main Street. I'm a Batavia resident. My family lives on Mill Street. I'm a Batavia business owner. We're located at 711 Main Street, and I look forward to being a commercial property owner at some day. I'd love to try to buy that building. That is a part of the Lindgren Foundry, and I find it a part of the history of our community, and I think it's important. So thank you so much for involving Main Street tonight. I would like to just take a moment to celebrate 2019 with you all and hopefully cast some vision and look forward to 2020. So council, city staff, Mr. Mayor, and most importantly, all of our citizens, thank you for your time and thank you for listening into what Main Street is doing today and what we look forward to doing at the end of the year here. First things first, Main Street is a partner with the city, with our property owners, with our business owners, and with so many more. But why Batavia Main Street? What do we do? What are we here for? Batavia Main Street was originally created in 1998 to assist with the goal of downtown redevelopment. I think we all know around this table that a strong and vibrant downtown feeds the city's other arteries, right? It provides a gathering place for residents, businesses, and visitors alike. Downtown Batavia is everyone's neighborhood, and I think I heard in that last conversation, that proclamation, everyone is welcome to the table in Batavia, and we want them to know that Batavia's downtown is certainly a center for them as well. In recent years, downtown Batavia has seen a resurgence of pedestrian traffic, and we are super stoked about that. It's to me, I think it's proof positive that over 20 years of Main Street, we've seen growth, we've seen energy, and we've seen investment. We see people of all ages coming to downtown with the intention of spending their time, their dollars, and being downtown, being present, being invested, and having a good time while they do it. So our mission as an organization is to not only engage community and keep people active and fired up, but specifically written, the Batavia Main Street Program is a not-for-profit, community-based organization devoted to enhancing downtown Batavia's identity as the heart of the community through dedicated volunteer efforts. We're here to focus on the promotion and revitalization of downtown Batavia, and we want to help see downtown Batavia and Main Street as a conduit and an advocate for everyone who calls Batavia their home and those outside. We want to welcome many in. Our vision, how we execute that particular mission is this. Our vision is to help create a unique and vital downtown that enriches the business community, embraces our history. You can hear it's passionate to me, and Mr. Mayor, I love your stories. You bring to the surface so much of our history, and you're an asset. You are an asset to this community. We want to celebrate the arts, we want to preserve our natural environment, and we'd like to promote quality events to instill a sense of place in our community. Moving forward here, it takes a lot of investment in people, in time, and in particular, one of the things that I think we talk around this table super often, dollars to make it happen. In 2020, we have budgeted $275,590 to be raised through our events, programs, sponsorships, and other direct public support. And we are always grateful for the partnership that happens, and it's a deeply committed one. That is the $40,000 contribution of SSA number 55, as well as a $40,000 contribution by the City of Batavia and its residents. We believe in shared partnership, right? The city, our residents, our property owners, All of the Main Street Partners programs and fundraising do amount to a total of $355,590 projected revenue for 2020. Our plan is, again, to fully sponsor all events, thereby covering the costs associated with each of those events. And we do have some events in particular which are fundraising events, such as Cocktails in the Park and Oktoberfest. We believe organizing around these events, as well as, again, the deep partnership we have here, this three-legged stool that supports it, together we can continue to see positive result from Batavia Main Street and investment in our community in energy and otherwise. There are many people, like myself, who step up to lead. In particular, we are led by a board of directors. Many names I think you know here, and I do want to just point out these are residents, these are business and property owners. These are also representatives of our city staff, city council, as well as the park district. Each and every one of them considers themselves a stakeholder and a partner, and we're all committed to the success of downtown Batavia and our city at large. So I just want to talk briefly I'm sure many of you know around this table what Main Street is, but for anybody who happens to be watching either right now on BATV, one of our other awesome partners, or potentially on the internet in the future, I do want to talk just briefly about what is National Main Street, how do we operate, who is Batavia Main Street itself as a form of that. So again, for over 22 years, we've modeled the National Main Street four-point approach. It's a proven strategy for revitalization, backed by a powerful network of linked communities and national support. It's a preservation-based economic development tool that enables communities to revitalize downtown and neighborhood business districts by leveraging local assets. I'm going to be honest, Mr. Mayor, we believe that you and your history are one of the assets of this community. It's an awesome thing. We love having you involved. There are many historic, cultural, and architectural resources, as well as local business, and one of the most important things, bulldog pride, that helps make this happen. It is a comprehensive strategy, and we want to try to address the issues that happen within traditional commercial districts, but those that come up that we may not be ready for. That said, we do have four core ideas that the Main Street model focuses on. There's three listed up here tonight because we have some focuses this year. The four pillars are this: promotion, economic vitality, organization, and the fourth, design. Today, the three that you see on the screen, we really think are the core building blocks for Batavia Main Street and for our community. These three areas we believe are most important, and we believe we can have the greatest impact, most efficiently and effectively work, and create a downtown where people want to be and where they want to stay. Under the promotion area, we want to focus on promoting our community and our businesses, both within as well as outside of the city. Special events, which can bring people into the city, we believe are an area that are super vital, just to create a general awareness of who we are, try to invest energy and time. The more time that someone spends in downtown Batavia, we hope the more they want to remain here and be an active part of our community. We'd like to work and continue to work with our city, with the Chamber of Commerce and our other local businesses to try to build an economic vitality center. You might see economic development in that word. Our language within Main Street is economic vitality. We want to see a vital district, both in growing as well as retaining downtown business with marketing, with promotion, and other advocacy within each other and to our community. And one of the things that we really see our roles trying to draw together both within our program and external of our program is organization. How do we recruit volunteers? How do we create core groups within those volunteers? How do we draw dollars into downtown and create fundraising efforts that might benefit our downtown and help it isolate itself and focus itself, as the heart of our community? We focus on partnerships. Collaboration is what this is all about, and I think we see that across Batavia, and it's an awesome thing. We would like to be a model of that as well. Strong partnerships are key. We have taken our experience from many, many people. In particular, the National Main Street Center is a vital resource for us. There's many other folks there that we step up with, but locally, it's important that we center up on who we are here in Batavia. Community involvement is key, right? A network of volunteers and advocates that want to step up, that want to put their dollars, their time, their energy, their muscle, their heart into what Batavia is, and in particular, what downtown Batavia means to our larger community. We love the fact that we have organizations that want to partner with us as well, and both the Chamber, Park District, Library District, Batavia Access Television, and so many others step up to support and be a part of our programming. We're just grateful for that. We're beyond grateful for it, frankly. The city, each and every one of you, the way you serve our community, the way you step up, but in particular, the way you show up in downtown. I see you at the events, you volunteer, you step up, you show up and just participate, and you're at Batavia. You get fired up to be a part of the market. That's awesome. To have you down here matters. Our property owners, they are not only a financial component and an investor in what we do, but they're a supporter through and through, right? We need to know that our downtown property owners see the vision of Batavia Main Street and the mission, understand it, and want to step up and make action with us. So it is important for all of us within the local business community. Like myself, I try to invest from Waveform. We're a tiny little company, but what can I do to make a difference? Well, putting a few dollars in and having many people who make that commitment makes a big difference in the long term. Looking at our action plans, we have 25 work plans that we'll be facilitating in 2020 to bring thousands of people into downtown Batavia to shop, to dine, to play, and we hope to stay. We put on many events through these work plans, such as Egg Hop, the Farmers Market, Oktoberfest, Block Party, our Batavia Bat Fest, so many other things. Again, we spoke about how we want to center on promotions, so the Shop Local Sundays, Small Business Saturday, Historic Preservation Week, and our Second Fridays events. And this year, something that I'm beyond excited about, a special project, the Batavia Boardwalk Shops. I know we're going to hear a lot more about that. We'll continue to see that come to fruition soon. And I'll bring it up here just a little bit more in a moment, but there's so many ways that Main Street wants to step up, and it's in that partnership with you that we see them executed. In 2020, Batavia Main Street will host 75 planned events and happenings. Those events include our farmers markets, our indoor markets, all of our large-scale, high-visibility events and all of that. And that does not even include those areas where Batavia Main Street wants to be a partner with someone else's or another organization's event. So a lot happening in downtown Batavia in 2020. So in 2020, I want to focus on a few things here, and this is one I know you've spent lots of time and you've seen deep investment of your energy in. I want to thank you for that. This is something special that very few communities around our country have the opportunity to experience. In 2020, Batavia Main Street will open its newest downtown business initiative, and that is the Batavia Boardwalk Shops. The boardwalk will include 8 unique seasonal retail shops located currently at the Route 25 and Wilson Street intersection. These little boardwalk shops will serve as an incubator of sorts for small startup businesses. We hope this program is designed to create more retail shopping and bring people into downtown Batavia for both this unique destination and the rest of our business sector. I want to talk a little about this. There will be small businesses that can be here that will focus on either a product or a service. They will be active. They will be alive. We're going to see energy and people on their feet moving around downtown, spending their dollars. We're going to see small business grow out of this. We believe the vendors that will be located in these shops will be exposed to high visibility and lots of traffic from the Batavia Farmers Market, Second Fridays, and so many other events. There will also be many promotions coming out of both Batavia Main Street and, we believe, the city of Batavia to attract patrons to these shops. One of the things that has already amazed me about this is it's so iconic to Batavia, in my opinion. That is how many people step up and go, wait, that's an awesome thing. I want to participate. I want to be there. So far, it's been awesome to see the community step up and cooperate, including grant support for the startup, many groups that have been involved already, including we've got business vendors that have stepped up to donate their time, their dollars, their investment, their product, as well as city staff and otherwise that have stepped up to see this come through. We want to thank the city staff who are trying to empower this to happen. We're grateful for your partnership, and we're going to do everything we can to see this successful. What's really neat is right now one of the partnerships that matters the most is our first shops are being built as we speak by high school students who are in the building trades and architecture programs. How cool is this, people? This is awesome. Thank you for the energy, the investment, the partnership. I can't wait to see these shops grow. And all of a sudden I wanted to become a retail guy. I don't know why. I record music, guys. This is not my space, but these things are awesome. It's a wonderful thing. One of our successes that I'd like to just lean back into 2019 and take a look at, we've talked about this a couple of times, but it has to be noted. In 2019, the Batavia Dinner Table raised more than $18,000 to benefit the Batavia Interfaith Food Pantry. Those dollars went directly to the food pantry. How cool is that? Overwhelmingly popular. We had over 200 people in attendance. We had volunteers galore. It's just one of the most beautiful nights on one of the most beautiful streets in our community. River Street has seen life and energy and people gathering around the table, breaking bread, doing what they do, being community together, and having a fabulous meal, if I can say so myself. We have frozen the machine. Apparently we love the dinner table that much. Let's see if we can keep on moving. Thank you. Appreciate that, Microsoft, for the support. Another thing that we are excited about, and you can see that beautiful brick of River Street, is Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest did admittedly start with a bit of a rough go this year. I would like to really thank ESDA for their support. They came in just the right time to help us understand with clarity what were we looking at. And we were looking at a terrible rainout. We were looking at dangerous conditions. I talk too much, you guys know that, but I also talk way too much at Oktoberfest, and now twice I've been guilty of standing on that stage to say, everybody, we're so glad that you came to Batavia's Oktoberfest. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. But we were able to do that with information this year. We were able to keep people safe, and guess what? Oktoberfest was a resounding success. The street was beautiful. We had people from across our community, across the Fox Valley. I stood there catching folks. This is a really neat thing, actually. Catching folks as they'd see me pop off the stage and go, hey, I came in from Crystal Lake. I came in from Algonquin. We had people from the north side of the city finding their way out to tiny little Batavia. How about that, right? Coming to hang from Hipsterville to real Hipsterville. So, awesome thing. And one of the things I want to focus on in particular, yes, you probably don't hear that at council meetings often. Hipsterville, it's a good thing. Notice the beard, right? It's all right. Despite the rain out, our family day this year was 3 times larger in attendance than before. I cannot thank everybody, and I saw so many of you there with your family, apparently with your wiener dogs, so that's pretty fabulous. We had a huge turnout. Didn't realize wiener dogs would be as exciting as they were, but on the tip of my toes, I watched wiener dogs race from one end to the other, and it was awesome. Those folks hung out and partied with everybody in Batavia and enjoyed themselves safely. We've already begun to plan our schedule and our logistics this year to make sure that Family Day continues to be a growth and a success as we keep moving forward. All right, that's enough of that. Something else that I'd like to celebrate, because Main Street is, as you can imagine, we're an outdoor event environment in many ways, but it doesn't mean that we're sitting on our tails come winter season. This is our time to reorganize, to prepare, to know that we are finding new ways to support our downtown businesses. It's easy, I think, for all of us, I can be held accountable for this too, to say it's cold out. Wouldn't it be great if I could just park closer somewhere, if I could just go into a store? No, it's more important that we draw people into our downtown. It's more important that we model what it looks like to invest in Batavia and its business. In particular, our indoor farmers market has seen an increase in attendance. The space it's in currently is more accessible and conducive to shopping at Bar Evolution, and we've had such a great collaboration with John and everyone in his business. It's wonderful. This winter offering has resulted in a really high turnout, great energy, satisfaction from the vendors, and we're excited that this is going to continue on moving forward. I can't tell you how important it is that we have a place in downtown Batavia where everyone is welcome. In particular, we have folks who are able to come in and utilize their link cards in order to make sure they make purchases for their dinner table. We are trying to do everything we can to make downtown Batavia both successful and accessible. 2019, we did see one of our very important staff members move on, and then another shift came at the end of the year. So what did we do as a board and as an exec committee? Well, we wanted to take a look at this proactively, and we wanted to understand who we are today. We wanted to try to be nimble within the format of the Main Street model. So we decided it was important for us to divide the responsibilities of fundraising and event coordination into 2 part-time positions, and we've seen nothing but beauty and growth and energy and really positive results from that strategy happen. We've seen folks, in particular, Bonnie Baumgartner and Beth Walker, step up in these 2 roles with energy, with expertise, and with a focus and a drive, And if any of you have sponsored, I guarantee you have experienced Beth Walker's drive, because you'll make sure that you know that you're going to step up and support Main Street and step up and support Batavia. She has got it. It's awesome. We're seeing energy and dollars committed to the success of downtown Batavia. Already, this restructuring has shown its merit in 2020. Our sponsorship is currently committed at levels that exceed the 2019 totals. Let me say that again. Because of Beth Walker's work, the sponsorship has been committed at levels that exceed 2019. That's beautiful. We want to be an active partner in seeing the financial responsibility of this program continue. Committees are solidly formed and planning is further along than in past years. Bonnie Baumgartner has stepped up huge, and we are already seeing most of our required bookings and event organization already scheduled into place here in February. We're seeing strong collaborations as well, and this is something that I look forward to seeing more growth. Sherry Wilcox, we had the opportunity to welcome to our team right at the close of 2019 moving forward, and she is already seeing. There's an HDMI cable up here. Excuse me. We're seeing energy in small committees form, and that is something that Main Street sees our purpose. We may not be able to do all of the work, but if we can gather a retail group, a restaurant group, if we can bring people together and help them focus their energy and their ideas and then be that conduit to see them successful, we will do everything in our power to do that. And we want to be a partner with our small businesses, with our property owners, and all of you who sit at this table and who are on the TV today as city partners. We are extremely grateful that we have the opportunity to serve, but we also are grateful that we see you step up and serve in partnership with us. All of us that we lead, we're grateful for that opportunity. I really do mean it. It has been a wonderful 4 years of opportunity to lead, and I look forward to helping foster a new leader come into place with Main Street, but that means zero if we don't have the partnership of our volunteers and our wider community. I want to thank now everyone who stepped up in 2019 and everybody who's already committed to 2020 leadership. It matters. Your output, your energy, your investment really makes a difference. So I do want to thank all of you for helping to make my hometown what it is. It really is our downtown. It really is our community. It's yours, it's mine, it's all of ours. And if we work together, I know that we can grow and prosper this vibrant community into exactly the Batavia we dream that it can be. We may not agree on every step to get there, and with trust and with commitment, and I guess a common goal, right, to see Batavia succeed and successful, we can and will get there. Batavia Main Street is dedicated to that collaborative journey. We are working with everything we do to bring people to downtown and translate those visitors into customers for our businesses and maybe even future property owners, right? This community has entrusted us and given us the confidence, and according to those budget figures, about $80,000 specifically of confidence. We want to do everything we can to be good stewards of those dollars, to be good stewards of your hours, of your investment, and we thank you because we can't do this alone. I am Batavia, you are Batavia. We're grateful for the chance to serve its downtown. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself, Patrick Moynihan, Sherry Wilcox, our executive director. You can do so at info@downtownbatavia.com. And it's a good plug right now. If you are looking for things coming in the 2020 season, don't hesitate to hit our website at downtownbatavia.com or like us on Facebook. You can also call the office at 630-761-3528. If anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer them, but beyond that, thank you so much. It's an honor to serve this community with.
Any questions from the council? Alderman Callahan.
I just fully agree with everything you said.
Thanks.
You just think about all the things that you were talking about. They're all based on ideas, and the organization champions ideas. It's always the attitude of how do we make it happen?
Yeah.
Figuring out the logistics. Yes, there may be some boo birds and pessimists in this town, but the overwhelming majority and why all the events become such a great success is because the amount of people that dedicate their time and energy and their sweat and their tears into everything that goes on because they are invested. And it is much easier to roll up your sleeves, get involved, champion ideas, and be a part of it than to just sit back and complain about things.
Marty, I couldn't agree anymore. I got invited in. I played guitar for the Artisan Collective years ago. It was an interesting spot for me personally, and this is a privilege that if you're an artist, if you get to be a part of a live environment like that, the event's happening, you're creating an ambiance, a sound, something that people hopefully enjoy while they're there, but I also get a chance to just watch. I love people watching in that regard. And what I saw was inspiring. I saw people interacting. I saw new relationships building. I saw business grow and happen in those moments. And at the same time, I also saw others step up and go, I think I can take a piece of that. I know I can make a difference. I couldn't say no. Truthfully, when Joy and Jamie Sam came to me, I had just started Waveform at my location on Main Street. I honestly was like, here I am, brand new business owner, trying to see this thing successful. How can I step up? And Jamie was really clear. Make one little difference. That's all. Make one difference. And if we see all these hands, all these feet, all these beautiful minds and hearts come together around this community, and in particular, it's downtown, I know that one little difference makes a huge impact. So I really, truly cannot thank you enough for the partnership. I can't thank you enough for being present. I think it matters to the community that we as leaders model what it looks like to be engaged. Show up at the farmer's market, show up. If you have a business, invest in our programs, be a partner, be a sponsor. And if you don't have that capacity, because not everyone does, that's totally fine. Show up and put your blood, sweat, and tears in it, right? Move some tables with me at Oktoberfest. Put up fencing. Do what you can. Plug in, make a difference. And I hope that, and I believe truly in my heart that these 22 years we've seen are only the beginning. So thank you all so very, very much. Certainly reach out to us if you have any questions, and I apologize that the Main Street Minute is always the Main Street 15 when I come. So thank you so much.
Patrick, before you
Yes.
go, certainly on behalf of the City Council, I just want to publicly thank you and the Main Street Board of Directors for what I feel has been, specifically in the past year, an outstanding job of kind of recreating and restructuring and new ideas and bringing in some new ways of doing stuff. And specifically, I want to commend your hiring of Sherry Wilcox to be your executive director.
Absolutely.
I've had the opportunity to spend some time with her, and she gets it. She's got kind of a magic touch, in my opinion, and
I agree.
I'm very anxious to see what she's going to do with this organization as this whole programming thing unveils itself this year, because I think you got somebody there that can handle it and take it to a new height of success.
I cannot disagree in any way, shape, or form. No pressure, Sherry.
I just want to say, I've obviously been here all my life, and so the old timers all remember me. And last weekend, I walk into City Hall here, and there's a guy standing there, and it took me a minute he finally told me who he was. He was playing Guess Who I Am. Anyway, he had not been in Batavia in 51 years.
Wow.
And he had to come back for a family funeral. And he came down and he stood out in the hall, and he kind of got tears in his eyes with me. And he, of course, I was Jeff to him, and that's fine with me, because I'd rather be that than any other thing.
Of course.
And he says, Jeff, he says, I can't believe what's happened here. He says, I haven't been here since, when was it? 1968 or 69. He says, I haven't been here since 69. And he says, I can't believe what's happened to this place. He says, I went to my wife's high school class reunion last year over in a town in Michigan, and we got there and the whole town was basically dead. He says, the stores were all empty, there was crap growing down the street, the weeds were growing up. And he says, I come to Batavia, and he says, yeah, it's wintertime here now, but he says, I look at what you've done with the Riverwalk and all the development of the river, and either restoring the old buildings or getting rid of some that needed to come down a long time ago. And he says, I don't know who's got their hand in this thing. I said, well, I got a lot of help here. I got a great city council. We got Main Street. We got the Chamber of Commerce. We got professional people running those organizations, and it's all come together. He says, it certainly shows for somebody who hasn't been here for 51 years that Batavia's really got its act together. And he joked, he says, I can remember coming into downtown Batavia, and at 8 o'clock, you couldn't find any place to eat. Everything was shut down. He says, my goodness gracious, he says, you turned this thing into a restaurant industry in this town. And I said, yeah, that's one of our points of great appreciation. He says, magic. He says, I just want to take my hat off to everybody involved here, because, It's for somebody who had a hometown that he hadn't been to in a long time. He says, I'm going to leave and go back. He's from California now. He says, I'm going to go back to California and be hometown proud of how this town is redeveloped. And he says, I'll be back in the next year or two. We're going to have some family stuff we got to close up and whatever have you. But he says, it's going to be a joy for me to come back here in the summertime and just spend a few days and relax, see some old friends, and visit all this new stuff that's lined up in this street.
You
So
know it.
I just share that with you as a compliment of what Main Street's done to help contribute to that vision, because, when somebody hadn't been here in 51 years and they come back and are blown away by what they see, I think we've done something right. And certainly creating Main Street and the people you've got leading it now are in the right track.
Well, I wholeheartedly thank you, and I agree that we, the collective we, have been a part of that. Main Street's proud to continue to be. And I hope that in this year, we all might have a chance to look at it with that perspective, right? I'm an early 90s arrival in Batavia. And for even my short period of time here in this community to see the difference, to understand who we were to who we are to who we might be, that's something inspiring, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. So thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time tonight.
Okay, now we have the adjustment to the agenda, which is item N under the consent agenda, which is ordinance 20-14, revising Title III, Chapter 3 of the Batavia Municipal Code, Class Liquor License. Who's going to present this one?
Your Honor, I'm going to sit out for
Yeah,
this
you
one
have to go out and
since
sit in the audience for a minute.
And then.
Alderman McFadden?
Yep, this one, yep, thank you. All right, this one is based on back in 2016, we created a Class J movie theater license and added it to the city code at the request of a local theater who were considering expanding services to include alcohol sales. At the time, we didn't have a license classification that adequately covered that, so we created the new one. More recently, we've had several prospective business owners indicate to us that they would like to pursue business opportunities within the community that involve live performance theater activities, and they would like to be able to include liquor service as part of their business model. After looking at it, it was decided the best course of action was to amend the Class J movie theater license and have it be more of just a general theater and live performance license. And so that's what this proposed ordinance does. Passed out of COW unanimously and is before us tonight. And so I would go ahead and make a motion that we approve Ordinance 2014 revising Title III, Chapter 3 of the Batavia Municipal Code, Class J liquor license.
Second.
Moved by Alderman McFadden, second by Alderman Cerrone for the approval of ordinance 20-14, revising Class 3 liquor licenses. Any discussion? I would just make the comment, I'm totally in support of this, but I'm not sure we're done with this. I think there may be some other situations going to be on the table here real quick that we may be back here amending this thing again, which is, again, kind of along with what we just talked about in Main Street. It's some really neat ideas and progressive thinkings coming to downtown Batavia, and I like to do all we can to help sustain it and promote it. Any other comments? Not the clerk, call the roll.
Does Alderman Beck abstain then, or do I not call her?
She's removed herself from the meeting.
So do I call her?
No.
Okay. McFadden?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Rosato?
Aye.
Knopp?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan?
Aye.
Meitzler?
Aye.
Malay?
Aye.
Ewer?
Aye.
Cerrone?
Aye.
Okay, ordinance 20-14 is approved by a vote of 12 yes, and 2 absent.
If I could just quickly speak, I do want to just say thank you for looking forward and trying to support growth on Route 31 on the Avenue. It's an area of downtown Batavia that I think we need to continue to invest in, that we need to continue to see progress and positivity, and knowing that you're doing what you can within ordinance to support that growth is something I'm very excited about as a citizen. So thank you so very much.
Well, what I'm hearing is, as they say on the Tonight Show, there's more to come.
I'm sure there is, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Going then to item number 11, which is Resolution 20-027-R, authorizing execution of task order number 1 for watershed concept plant for the Mahoney Creek and H.R. Green in the amount not to exceed $52,520.
Your Honor.
Alderman Wolf?
I have it, thank you. This is for a response on the Mahoney Creek tributary. The city is going to be using H.R. Green to work on a plan for that entire watershed, and this is the first phase of that. So this is something that we've talked about quite a bit over the last several years, and just one of our ongoing steps in trying to resolve a lot of the water issues that we're faced with in many different areas of town. Any questions? I'm sure Mike wants to say something about it.
Of course I do. First one.
Alderman O'Brien?
Well, this is obviously, the Mahoney Creek and the tributary, it flows along perpendicular to Woodland Hills along Wintergreen Terrace, and it's fed from Fermilab. So we obviously, I'm hoping, will be in dialogue with Fermilab. And, I know that there's a proposed restrictor that they're looking to put in on the east side of that tributary, and that Gary and I had a conversation a while back that's going to be about 5 years away before they do that. So I don't know how fast this is coming up. It looks like it's moving pretty fast. So I'm hoping maybe we can push up that restrictor also. And people do suffer along that. There was a lot of work done on the Mahoney Creek tributary along Wintergreen Terrace this past summer. They did a wonderful job cleaning that up. We were about to lose our roadway, and they came in and they cleaned it up well. But there's a lot more work that needs to happen. So I'm pretty excited about seeing this starting to come into focus.
Moving forward.
Any other comments?
I'll make the motion that we approve Resolution 20-27R.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Wolf, second by Alderman McFadden for the approval of Resolution 20-027-R for the watershed concept plan for Mahoney Creek. Clerk call the roll.
Wolf?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan?
Aye.
Meitzler?
Aye.
Malay?
Aye.
Ewer?
Aye.
Saron?
Aye.
McFadden?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Rosato?
Aye.
Beck?
Aye.
Knopp?
Resolution 20-27-R is approved, 13 yes, no nos, 1 absent. Moving to 12, which is Resolution 20-23-R, approving telecommunications franchise agreement for use of right-of-way between the City of Batavia and MCI Metro Access Transmission Services Corporation. Who's got this one?
I have it,
Alderman
Your Honor.
O'Brien?
Oh, so in 2016, we had a pole attachment agreement with WOW. They were going to facilitate their construction of fiber optic infrastructure within the city. In 2017, MCI Metro purchased WOW. So in 2017, they approached the city. Also, they wanted to construct their fiber optic infrastructure within the city's right-of-way. And so MCI Metro purchasing WOW had to follow, the crux of it all is they had to follow all the agreements we had with that WOW had with the city. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to kind of rewrite their franchise agreement. City stood firm. So in essence, they have the franchise agreement they agreed to. In 2018, they were still arguing with us, but I guess they've finally come to their senses, and they are going to comply with all the agreements we've made with WOW as they purchased WOW. We didn't give them the pole attachment licensing agreement until they had the franchise agreement in place. And now that we're going to do that, we'll give them that also, that pole attachment agreement. So any questions?
Not a question, just a comment that, for anybody watching, this is about 5G, and there's nothing that's going to stop 5G from coming. That's federal and state mandated. So this is just those guys prepping for that, but then what it ends up leading to, the only real control we have over is the aesthetics of anything that gets put up, and we are working on that to try and maintain some better aesthetics in our town, rather than where some people talk about 5G does not look good because they're everywhere. So
So what are the aesthetics?
We haven't got, that's still coming to us. But it's going to be a while before they hang anything up on a pole, so.
Yeah, this basically builds the loops and everything that they need in town to be able to go out, have pole attachments, have right-of-ways to get there, and then once they have that, then they'll go through and figure out whatever kind of design we'll approve, and they're gonna put those little antennas everywhere.
Yep.
Typically within 1,000 feet of each other.
Alderman Metzler?
Just a comment before I have to abstain. Due to my employment, I must abstain from voting. If you didn't get a chance to tune into the committee discussion last week when Gary was presenting some additional information about this, it really was very helpful. It is absolutely about the small cell wireless. So I'm very happy to see that we held firm on these agreements, because with what has been pushed down, the very little leeway and control that we do have around these, we should not be relinquishing.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Thank you very much. Anybody else?
I just have another question. I guess it's it says here also that, Metro notified the city intends to lease or assign its rights to any third parties that may intend to utilize the fiber infrastructure. Should we allow that?
They can use it for telecommunications.
Can they sell their
telecommunications
rights?
Only if they use it for anything else, say they go out to another entity that wants to use it to sell TV or cable type products, then that becomes a whole different thing, and that requires another franchise agreement.
Right, because
So
they're
they would not be paying us the cable franchise fees like Comcast and AT&T do, or MetroNet. So we just have to make sure that they're not using those for anything but telecommunications.
And then that's understood, but they were going to lease, or they were thinking they might sell their rights to that or lease their rights to it.
Which I think they can if they only use it for telecommunications, which would be 5G.
That's
And
a
at some
question.
point, 5G is streaming content.
Well,
that
and that's,
people are
I know,
avoiding
that's,
of.
that's a question that has to be answered later, and there's a lot more lawyers that have to
Everything,
be
yeah.
involved in that.
So if I could just provide some clarification on that, I think that's why Alderman Meitzler was saying it was such an interesting discussion last week, because the law has not caught up yet. So when you read the laws, they feel like there's this lane over here that is entertainment, and there's this lane over here that is communications. And of course, all of us know from streaming content that these lines are now blurred, and the legislation just simply has not caught up with it yet. And so we will have to be on guard and make sure, as the legislation changes, that we fine-tune our agreements as much as possible to maintain our control over those.
Thank you.
Sure.
Well, I'll make a motion, we pass Resolution 20-23 approving telecommunications franchise agreement for use of right-of-way between the City of Batavia and MCI Metro Access Transmission Service Corporation.
Second.
Moved by Alderman O'Brien, second by Alderman for the approval of Resolution 20-023-R. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Abstain.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosato.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Knopp.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
That vote is 12 yes, 1 abstention, and 1 absent. The motion is approved. Okay, moving to 13, which is Resolution 20-24-R, approving pole attachment licensing agreement between the City of Batavia and MCI Metro Access Transmission Services Corporation. Alderman O'Brien?
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion, and who seconded it? Saron, they're both pointing at each other. Moved by O'Brien, second by Saron for the approval of Resolution 20-24-R approving the pole attachment licensing agreement between the City of Batavia and the MCI Metro Access Transmission Services Corporation. Any further discussion?
I'll just say one thing, and going with what Alderman O'Brien had asked. I think this is one of those where maybe somebody that has a really good fiber network and has enough of it available that they can lease that space out will do that. Will sell it to other entities to use. So I think that that's something that we will probably see.
I just want to know, is that wise to do? That's all. I don't know. So we'll get into
I
that
think
when
it'd
it
be
comes.
easier to have one company that has the loops out there, and then they can deal with somebody else doing it, instead of having 4 companies or 5 companies all on the same poles we have.
Yes, that's a good point.
You know, I just want to make a comment. I kind of got spoiled here with dealing with Comcast and AT&T. They were, I would describe them as honorable and honest and forthright companies to deal with. And my more recent dealings with somebody, I guess these are nice enough people, but they leave a lot to be desired as far as their control over their installations. I cannot begin to tell you how many times over the last 2 years I have been screamed at by residents in probably every ward in this city about, well, they're in my backyard, I don't know who these people are, they don't have a name on their truck, and they no comprende to me and can't say they can't speak English. And I'm headed up to here with that, because that's been a very problematic situation, and as I look around at all of you, I think of all these places I got called, and there's not a ward out there that hasn't called the mayor's office because of installation problems. One anecdotal thing I'll share, you know, in my role in Chicago at CMAP, we've been briefed on the 5G program for Illinois, and it sounds like, you know, we're going to be running cars with this and everything else in 20 years. We won't need gas stations. We're going to be sending these signals out. The one thing that I found interesting, at one time they were in giving us the pitch about this, and they said, well, it's just as Alderman Wolf just mentioned, they're going to need all these little antennas all over the place. And one of the big things that they're saying that they're going to be is the best support all the local church community ever had, because they're going to want to get into every church steeple that they can find in the state of Illinois. Inside the steeple, they're going to put these antennas, and then at the bottom where the bell used to be rung from, they want to put a little box where there'll be the transmissions, and they'll be sending these signals through all the church steeples. So the churches are going to get a nice little revenue source if all this comes to be from 5G, but maybe a few years, but that seems to be what they're spinning us, in Chicago at least, that the churches are going to really make out big time with this little antennas. And when you said that, it just hit push my button when you said that.
The other thing that I think will be very interesting is they have to figure a way to do it in all the newer neighborhoods that don't have any poles in them,
Yeah.
that don't have street lights close enough together, that don't have areas to put that.
In your attic.
That's exactly what the response was, is that's what they will do, is they're going to look for subscribers that are willing to get part of their subscription paid for to be able to have an antenna unit on their house.
So, and Your Honor, I might add to your first point about, I remember 2 to 3 years ago, a nice young lady came before us all and talked about going to bring another cable company into our city, and it was just going to be professionally done, and we're all on board, we're all behind it. This will be great. And they seem to have kind of not lived up to the expectations she presented.
Well, Comcast and AT&T have a high opinion in my mind, and that's all I'll say.
Okay.
They have been honorable, forthright, professionally run companies who know what they're doing. We have a motion and a second on the floor for the approval of Resolution 20-024-R for the approval of the pole attachment licensing agreement. Clerk, call the roll.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Abstain.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosato.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Knopp.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Motion is approved, 12 yes, 1 abstention, 1 absent. Okay, moving to 14, the administrator's report. Laura?
Good evening. There is a lot going on, as you can tell from the consent agenda tonight. Wanted to share with you some of the things that Public Works is working on. The electric crews are pulling wire and making connections for the new system to service the Laurelin apartments. In recent years, we've been experiencing some problems over there, and last year we laid the groundwork for fixing those problems, and this year we're going to be actually pulling that wire. Electric crews are also completing work along Main Street in preparation for the road reconstruction that's going to be happening, and the plans for the 2020 sidewalk program have been finalized and let for bids. Planning is underway for the expansion and improvements at the water treatment plants, and engineering met with our consultants to get an update on the Carriage Crest Basin project. We have some flooding issues over in that area that we are hoping to address in the next few years. And Streets and PPS are always busy with the winter operations. Today was a pretty good example of never knowing what to expect, that rain that vacillated into sleet, and who knows if it was going to turn into snow. So I too would like to compliment them on their ability to keep our streets clean this year. Earlier this evening, there was a proclamation to designate the month of September as Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. And in addition to mentioning the resource of if ever you need it, just pick up the phone and dial 911, I'd also like to take a moment to mention the services of 211. It was the executive director of our United Way, Melinda Kintz, who was the primary proponent for bringing 211 to this area. And it's unbelievable that the state of Illinois is one of only 2 states in the entire country that do not provide this service statewide. But through United Way coordinating with the county and also all of the county public school districts, they were able to bring this 211 service. And what does 211 provide? Information about services. It is a very broad category. Whether somebody is in need of food, whether they're in need of financial resources or help with their utilities, or whether they're just struggling and want someone to talk to and get connected to services, 211 is an excellent resource, and it's just a very easy number to remember. So I'd like to just promote that to everyone. I also wanted to promote a city program that we have. It's our Parkway Tree Program. We're pretty proud of our trees in the city of Batavia. And this program is funded by the general fund and the electric utility. The available species that we have are locally grown quality trees that do well in city parkways. And any resident can apply for the tree program, and the city of Batavia shares the cost 50-50 with the resident, and the city of Batavia plants that tree. And they guarantee that tree for the first year. So if you go to the city website, right on the homepage, you can find the online application or the phone number where you can call and make a request for a parkway tree. It's been an excellent program for us that has allowed us to increase not only the number of trees, but there are different varieties of trees that are available every year. So if that's something that interests you, we highly encourage you to participate in that program. And then I also just wanted to remind people that tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. in this room will be a program to provide the community with information and also the opportunity to ask questions about a really big road construction program that's happening this year. And that is Main Street. So if you are used to using Main Street as your main thoroughfare to get from here to there, you may want to find an alternative route for sometime between April and November of this year. But when it's finished, it is some much needed improvements that are, I don't know, maybe 9 years this project has been in the making. And also the city of Batavia is receiving federal funding to assist with the complete reconstruction from South Water Street all the way to Van Norwick. So while it's going on, it will certainly be a disruption to our day-to-day. But when it's finished, it's going to be a beautiful new modern road with all new infrastructure. So it'll be a great thing when it's finished. If you're interested, come here tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. in council chambers. And that's all I have tonight, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Any questions? Alderman Earl?
I expected it to be on tomorrow's agenda, but we had asked for for discussion on video gambling.
Oh, I'm sorry if I did not put that on. I will make sure that it is on the 25th.
Okay.
And one of the reasons Mayor is not going to be a participant in the meeting tomorrow night.
Okay.
So we are trying to keep matters that he might want to participate in the discussion of. Well, I'll put that on 225.
Thank you.
Alderman Knopp?
I had a quick question on the wastewater treatment plant. I know when that work was done, there was some payback.
Yes.
How's that stand? Do we get a final number negotiated?
There is a final number that we have submitted to the contractor, and we have a meeting from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. to go through every line item on that, the details of that on Thursday. So, but Williams Brothers Construction will be, as well as Trotter and the city, will all be meeting at the table face to face to go over that.
Awesome, thank you.
Other questions?
No,
Thank
thank you.
Do we have committee reports, community development?
We have tomorrow continued discussion on the entryway signage design. There is no plan commission for February 19th. The next scheduled is March 4th. And then next week on the 25th, the continued public hearing, which was tabled for the SSA 42, the Nagel Industrial Park, and the ordinance for establishing that after that, which was also tabled previously.
City Services, Alderman Wolf?
Only one thing on the agenda for tomorrow night is adoption of a complete streets policy.
Okay. Government Services, Alderman McFadden?
We had
Nothing coming up, Your Honor.
Okay. Public Utilities, Alderman O'Brien?
Nothing on the agenda.
Okay. Do we have other business from the City Council? Alderman O'Brien?
If another alderman would join me, I would like to add also to next week's Committee of the Whole, kind of start that conversation again about the boardwalk shops. That is there the opportunity, one, to move them if there's not going to be construction at 1 Washington Place, and two, in reflection, we voted on how we were paying for some of this stuff, but I wanted to talk again about how we're charging on electric for this, because it's really just a public project, and I'm not sure why we're shuffling money around the way we are. So I'd like to,
I'd gladly join.
thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All right, under 17, the mayor's report, just a couple quick things. Number one, I am being told that this coming Thursday, WGN is coming to Batavia, and they're going to go to Gammon Corner, and they're bringing their Chicago's Best Food program out here. And that Gammon Corners has been selected to be the one that they're going to do a segment about in Batavia. And it's going to be, I guess, around noontime on Thursday. I think I got that date right. So that should be a fun thing to have. The other thing is, as Laura already indicated, I will not be here tomorrow night. I'm honored to be asked to be the speaker at the Batavia Brotherhood Banquet out at Holy Cross Church, which is the one night a year when the men from all the men's church groups get together and have a banquet of all the various faiths. And tomorrow night will start their new half century. They've been in business for 50 years with this banquet, and tomorrow night will start the next 50, and so I've been honored to be asked to be the speaker. And I'm going to talk about, my theme of my talk is moments when God touched our town. And I got some stories to tell. I would just note that I am very, very pleased with some of the stuff I've seen coming out of the city of Batavia recently, as far as, kind of community reaction to stuff. In a community where you constantly have a lot of stuff going on and a lot of activities, you sometimes wonder, are you going to be able to do all this? One thing I'm very proud to report tonight is that as you all see and hear on the regularity, the availability of state and federal money is not really easily accessible. And at Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, where I'm the chairman of the Council of Mayors, we just had some rough meetings in there because the state and feds came in and said, well, we got some money, but we don't have all the money we need, so we're going to have to put a cutoff here, and if you don't have a project that has been put through the vetting and the engineering and the easements and the right-of-ways, and you're not ready to go, we're not going to have any money after probably June to give anybody. So if you got your projects ready to go, we can fund you, but if not, you're gonna have to wait a year or two. Well, I'm pleased to report that both Main Street and South Prairie Street, our staff rose to the occasion previously to this all coming out, and we got all of our documents in, so we're on the other side of, we got funded. And so I'm pleased to report that. But there's a lot now, a lot of other cities are not too happy right now because the money is just not coming available as quickly as they thought. And I think specifically in the state level, there's a much delay in funding coming out. And so I'm not sure where all that's going. I'm glad I'm not really partner of the state government right now because it is kind of a rough place. And I'm not sure where that's going, but we'll all watch with great interest, and there's days ahead. So that being said, I guess I would ask that we go for, take a brief recess and I'll ask for a motion now for executive session for the purpose of discussing the purchase or lease of real property.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman O'Brien, second by Alderman Callahan. Clerk, want to take a roll for us going into, do we want to have a roll to go into executive session? Call the roll.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosato.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Knopf.
Aye.
Wolf.
No.
Barron.
Aye.
That one's approved, 12 yes, 1 no, 1 absent. And we'll give it about a 2-minute recess.